Hello and welcome to IT Skills 360. I'm your host RJ, and today we are going to talk about how to boost your career with soft skills. This is a very important topic, and I want to make sure that we highlight the importance of soft skills in this episode. So let me give you a quick my recent experience, actually an example of what happened. So I have worked with lots of Fortune 500 companies as a consultant. I have worked as a full-time employee. I have interviewed lots of candidates, and recently I was looking for a candidate. I still have an open position, and as you can imagine, even during this Corona pandemic time frame, I am looking for a candidate. So you can imagine why IT industry is one of the best ones that I always vouch for. Anyway, so I am looking for a candidate. I had an interview. It was a video interview, and this candidate, really good candidate, all checks on the IT skills I am looking for. However, I did not end up hiring that person. The reason you might have guessed is because the soft skills that I was looking for, unfortunately, was not found in this particular candidate. So what do I look for in a candidate, right? Of course, I'm looking for technical skills, but I also need soft skills, as I said. Now, you may be basically, you might have seen or heard, or you might have experienced from other colleagues and friends that a person who is technically less qualified, has not that much of technical knowledge or even experience, still got a job or a promotion. Of course, you might have guessed why. It is because that person possesses certain soft skills, and that could have outweighed that technical knowledge or experience that you or your friend or whoever has experienced. Now, I'm not the only one. I'm vouching for soft skills. I mean, if you see this article on Forbes, it says why soft skills will help you get the job and the promotion. Right there. This article was on LinkedIn. It says soft skills are increasingly crucial to getting your dream job. Employers struggle to find candidates with the right soft skills for 59% of their open jobs. So, as you can see, this thing, these skills are required. But what are those skills? Let's define, and let's get closer look. Now, before we go to what are the soft skills, let's talk about what are hard skills. Now, hard skills are very easy to define, I would say. They are basically, you can define technical skills as hard skills. And these skills vary with industry to industry. They are industry specific. So since we are talking about IT industry, but we can think of programming, for example, like programming in Java, programming in Python, programming in HTML, learning or understanding Microsoft Excel, knowing data analysis, knowing cloud technology, knowing data science, machine learning, all those kind of things that you can be trained on. You can learn in a classroom. You can learn from somebody, from a tutorial. Things like that would be considered a technical skill. So these are definitely more, I mean, the very important skills, and they are required ones for the job. But the point is, they are not enough to get the job. So they are required but not sufficient. And that's why they should be combined with the soft skills. Now, what are the soft skills then? Well, they are part of your personality. They can be developed, but it is not easy. They are hard to you to be trained on. Like, you cannot sit in a class and in a day, in 5 days course, you suddenly become master of that soft skill. So it is coming through some experience, some understanding, some application. Lots of those aspects need to be combined to develop those soft skills. Now, there is a long list of soft skills you might have seen. Basically, communication, teamwork, analytical thinking, creativity, decision making, time management, list goes on. So what I do is I focus on three, I call it three C's of soft skills. What are those three C's? Well, first is communication, C for communication. Another C is for creativity, and the third C is collaboration. Now let's look about each one separately. So about the communication, what we are looking for is verbal communication, written communication, interpersonal communication, and also sometimes you don't need to communicate actually by verbal or written. You just need to listen. So the last two, interpersonal and listening, they are coming more from the body language sometimes. how you act, how you interpret others body language, how you expose your body language, that also communicates. So it is not always necessary that what you say is communication. So that's all about communication, and it is what makes you, strong, by having all the combination of these communication skills. Now the next one is creativity. Creativity is basically how do you solve a problem, and there is always going to be problems, right? On a job, whatever you are doing, either as a student, as a businessman, as an employee, you will be exposed to problems. If there is no problem, there is no need for you to be there. That's why you should thank for the problem and then try to solve those problems. Now, how do you solve problem? You need to have certain analytical skills. Like how do you trace, like let's say there is a program you wrote, it is a Python program, Java program, whatever you wrote, and either that program, when you try to compile or when you try to run that program, you see an error. So you have to solve that, where did it go wrong. And sometimes the program will run. However, that doesn't mean it is producing the right results. There might be the logic behind it which might not be the correct one, and you might be producing the incorrect result. So all of that, and somebody else might catch it, or you may have to go through the program and understand, like, is it doing the right thing it needs to. And you may find out that, oh, that if statement or that loop, whatever it is, needs to be fixed. And that's how you solve that problem. And for that, you need to have some analytical skills. You need to track down the logic and understand what is happening, where the data is coming, where the logic is coming, what is the input, and what is the supposed to be output, what is the business logic in between. All of those things, you need to look at that picture, larger picture. What's my input, what is the process, what is the business logic in between, and what is the output that is expected. And you should be able to think through that. You cannot just write a program, you cannot just produce a report, you cannot just provide an analysis in Excel or whatever tool you are using and just say, here is my results, and that's it. You need to be able to support that logic behind that result. And that's where your creativity, your problem solving skills, your analytical skills come into picture. Now the third C I look for is called collaboration. Now obviously this is a very general term, but ideally you won't be working in an isolated individual environment. Even if you are a freelancer, let's say you are working from home, you are a remote worker, you still need to at least communicate. So all of these, as you can see, will come into place together. It is like a mashing of those gears. It is not just one gear that helps you to drive the car. There are multiple things that needs to be working together in order to ultimately produce the output. So collaboration, again going back to that, is you need to have a teamwork. You need to be able to work with other people. So and everybody is different. There are different personality. You have to be able to judge and adjust to other personality. You cannot say it is my way or highway type situation. That will not work well. Even though you have a great technical knowledge, you might be having lots of PhDs. However, that person will not fit well, and that's where a lot of people will be ruled out from either getting an opportunity to move ahead, to get a promotion, or even to get a job. Another part is sharing and caring. That goes along with teamwork, but you should have empathy. This is like emotional intelligence side, but let's not go too much into it. However, sharing and caring is a simple term. You should be able to understand others' perspective. Sometimes somebody needs to take care of something else, and you should jump in, like, okay, I have some time, I can understand this, I will help you out, and jump in, take care of this. There might be certain deadlines that we need to address, and the team needs to produce certain output, and for that you need to adjust some of your work. So all of these go under sharing and caring. The next one, collaboration side, is leadership capability. So leadership is not necessarily reserved only for the management or senior management and executives. Anybody could be a leader. You should be always thinking in terms of a leader, like, what would my manager think, what would my manager expect in this case, what can I help you with. And it could be to your colleague, to your superior, to your subordinate, no matter who you are. This is not, we are not talking about just a newbie's IT entry that these skills are required. It could be at any level. These skills will always be there. So the leadership is a general capability that will be required at any level. And the last one, I would expect at least to see, is the time management. As we discussed, there will always be tight timelines. Sometimes we need to produce certain things, and suddenly something came up. Now we have to adjust things. So you should be able to manage. You if you have a given you are given a deadline, you should be able to produce those reports, those outcomes. And if you cannot, then also at least be proactive and tell your management that, well, because I'm working on this particular project, I won't be able to produce this output as well as the other one by this weekend, by next week, whatever it is. That will give the management a perspective of, okay, how can I divide this work? Maybe you can be paired with some other resource. Maybe we can juggle between certain tasks and give one task to somebody else, and you focus on the important ones, things like that. So always have a communication, always have proactive reaction to be ready to collaborate with the colleagues, with the management, and come up with your suggestion. So overall you will be coming up as a package that will be creating an image that will suit you, or would be considered you to go to the next level sometimes. Or if you're talking about the interview, I would like to see those type of situation highlighted, like, oh, I was in this situation, I did this and that, that's why I am a good candidate, and not just because I know programming to the dot. That is definitely helpful, but that is not all. Anyway, next one is communication. So let's go a little bit more into that. So the verbal communication. Now the whole point we are at is, so we talked about these three C's of soft skills, but where do we learn, or how do we develop those soft skills? So my suggestion here is, for the communication and especially verbal communication, there are Toastmaster groups. I have been there. I have I have highly recommended. Lots of people benefited, and this is a very well known thing. It I don't know why, but people are afraid to speak in public, as they say, right? People would rather die than speak in the public. I don't know if that is exaggeration, but if that is the case, join Toastmaster. There is nobody's going to die. I can tell you that much. But that public speaking will come out of your shell, I would say, if you are really feared of public speaking, and that will develop that verbal communication skills, and you will be able to handle, whether you are in a meeting where you are expressing your ideas, when you are expressing your results, when you are expressing your situation, that you are experiencing certain problems that you are trying to solve, anything like that. It will give you confidence, basically, to explain it clearly, explain it well, in a concise way. And that Toastmasters, joining the Toastmaster will definitely help you. Other way I have seen, and I have seen it work with others, is to read books out loud. Find the books with dialogues, like mostly those fiction books. I don't know, I don't read that many fiction books, but I'm sure there are. Whichever you like, just pick one, and find a room, maybe go into the bathroom, I don't know where, but start reading the book and have the feeling associated with that dialogue. Like, speak like a hero is speaking, like the heroine is speaking, like the person is talking to each other, and add that emotion and see how you feel. You have to express yourself. So don't be monotonous in your dialogue in the actual world. Rather, this will give you the opportunity to practice that using that book. So that is another tip. Now, for the written part, what you can do is, of course, you need to learn. One thing is very, very crucial, I would expect, is to write, how to write emails. That somehow, I don't know why a lot of people miss that simple things. When writing emails, you have to be concise. You have to make sure the right subject line is there. You have to have the right body in it, and you don't want to write essays in the emails. I can tell you, the very first two lines or very first paragraph will tell what is required, what is the problem, and move on. You will be bombarded with the emails, and you don't have time to go through each and every email and read each and every word. You want to put it in such a way that it conveys what is the issue, what is the subject, what's the issue, what is the email about. If it is not an issue, it is an informative. What is it? If it is just informational, just put FYI. That will tell me that I don't need to take any action here. If it requires an action, then put the action required section somewhere in between, I mean along the body part, and say expected deadline, expected time frame. If you are writing to somebody who you are expecting something back from, just say, hey, I would appreciate if you can send me this by this and that, what time, date, whatever you need. So make it simple, but conveying the clear communication is very crucial. The next one is learn to write business documents. So writing email is one part of it, because emails you will be writing constantly, but they are just concise and small piece of the document, if you consider it as a document, or a rather piece of communication. The next one is business documents. Sometimes we have to write user requirements, you have to write systems requirements, system specifications, things like those documents. You need to clearly articulate those things, because that will be written in depth, and that will be required to be either sometimes signed off or would be referred to in the sometimes when there is something goes wrong, or we are trying to upgrade certain systems. There are lots of scenarios where we dig these kind of documents to see what was captured. Did the business ask for this? Did we capture that as a technical architecture? All those type of things. So be as clear as possible in these kind of documents. So this here you can be even you don't have any limit. On the email side you have to be concise. Here you can go on, put some images, capture some small images with annotations, I'm trying to say. And those kind of things will go into these documents that will help later identify, without think like you are not there but you are still speaking. How would you explain that, right? I'm sitting there after 6 months, after 1 year, looking at this document. Does it make sense to me, without coming back to you or whoever wrote that and asking, what do you mean by this, or what do you mean by that, what is this picture mean? So those are the thinking skills that will go along with your written communication skills together to make a better producing document. Now, one resource I highly recommend is the book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book is almost more than 70 years old. I still have it. I have given, I don't know how many people I have given this as a gift. And this book I cannot recommend enough, that this book is such a nicely written book. It has so many stories in between. It is not a theoretical theory that you just read about and then you apply. This you can see the application in itself. Dale Carnegie has written a fantastic book, and I highly recommend it. So it will definitely help you develop that communication skills. Let's continue. So the next one is the creativity skill. How do you develop your creativity? Now, I would expect, and I suggest again, even to my colleagues as well as to my team members and my kids, that to play chess, playing chess as a sport, you might consider, but what this will do is it will make you think a step ahead, and that is, my friend, is the name of the game. Whether you are really a sports guy, or you are working in a business, or you are an employee, anywhere, whatever you are doing, thinking about what will be the next step, what will be the next move, is very crucial. And playing chess will develop your mind. It will start your mind to start thinking in terms of, okay, if I'm doing this, what will happen after this, what will be the outcome of this. So this will help you in programming your the way you should be. It will help you present the things that you should be doing, your presentation skills, your communication skills. If I'm writing an email, I should be thinking, if I write this, what will be the implication, what will be the outcome of this? Am I doing it so that I can have the next move that I'm expecting? Let's say, and when I'm playing the chess, right, you would expect, if I move this king or a rook or whatever, what am I expecting the other person to do? I'm expecting something. That's why I highly recommend playing chess. Now, you don't need to become a chess master, just play. And nowadays, when I was playing with my friends, in those days we didn't have any distractions or computers type thing, so we would spend hours and hours. but nowadays it is not possible. We get all type of distraction. However, I think this is still possible, and the best thing is you don't even need a friend to play with. Computer, there are computer programs you can learn and play right on the computer alone, and that is the best skill and time spent to develop your creative thinking. The next one, again for collaboration now, is to play sports. Now you can be playing, or you might have played baseball, football, basketball, soccer, whatever it is, any sports. But that is because you will be playing in a team. So those team sports will tell you, and you must have seen if you have played, that just your own move is not enough. Even though you are the best person in the team, or you may not be the best person of the team, still the team wins or loses either way, because it was the team effort that counted, or that made it possible, not just your own effort. So play sports. The next one could be provide your services as a volunteer. Now, volunteer, again, it requires a lot of people to come together, and mostly there will be unknown people. You might not be knowing all of them right away. There are people come and go and join the groups and all that. That will help you understand the dynamics of personality. You will understand the human nature, all of that. Now, one thing I want to make sure is that while you are doing this sport, or playing the sports, or doing the volunteer services, that is, you might have done it already, and you might say, oh yes, I already played the game. I'm already a baseball player, I'm already a football player. That's great. But my recommendation is, now next time when you go and play or you volunteer, keep your eyes open, think, watch, and then learn the dynamics of these people, how they play in the team, how they play together. Certain people have certain characteristics. Try to observe, don't be critical, just observe and see how do you fit in that whole team environment. And then think about, if that is what is going on, if somebody is not happy in certain situation, if somebody is really happy in certain situations, those same scenarios will happen in the workout outlets also. So you will notice that certain people during the meeting will come across either sometimes direct, sometimes very hard, sometimes some people are very subtle, they are very intelligent, but they don't speak, and you might think, oh, he is not speaking, so he may not be understanding. That is not necessarily the case. So there are lots of different people, different personality. You need to read the people, and this will help you develop your leadership capabilities, your team capability, your sharing, caring, all of that we discussed. So basically what I'm saying is, all these things go together: collaboration, communication. I mean, these skills are not just one-off or individual skills. They all go together, and they don't stop at one point of time. It is not that, okay, I have done this, I got a certification, like you would have Java certified person, or a Python certified person, or something like that. The soft skills are not like you get certified in. Yes, you can learn, but it is never ending story. Even today, I always think, how do I improve myself? How do I improve my soft skills? So this is never ending, never stopping, but that is the fun. That is why we all like to learn and understand and develop our skills. And that's the reason I put this name as IT Skills 360. So the hard skills are one part of it, but the soft skills are the other side, and all of that together will make us successful, develop our successful career. As you can see, I'm so excited. I am trying to fit in so much into something that I thought I'll put up as a package. Now it is your turn. I hope what I went through makes sense to you. I would like to know, what skills do you think is the most important? The hard skills, soft skills? If soft skills, what are those soft skills? Things like that. And if you got benefited, if you had certain experience or certain situations where you saw or you noticed that soft skills did help you with doing something, I would like to see. Please help and share this video. I would really appreciate that. You add your comments so that others can see and learn from it. As always, I'm always there for you. Reach out to me if you have any questions. rj@itskills360.com. Be IT inspired. Thank you so much.